Why is the hockey the least popular of the four major sports in America? Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. High barriers to entry. The other three only need a ball, a court, field, and a bat. Very easy for young kids, especially in public schools, to enter into. Hockey needs hockey pads, a hockey ring, ice skates, and so on. It's super expensive to maintain a hockey ring for public schools. Most don't even have the budget for one, and it takes a lot of work and skill to learn how to move like they do on ice skates, which requires a lot of practice. Easy access to a hockey ring. It's like golf basically, where the barriers to entry are really high. That's why it's not something suitable for recess games. Most people couldn't stand on skates, much less play hockey. Basically lack of exposure at a young age. It's just not ingrained in our culture as much as the other sports. Other than states like Minnesota and Wisconsin, hockey isn't really accessible either, meaning we don't have a lot of homegrown talent. Horse soccer didn't even make the list. Traditionally, hockey was a regional sport available only to Canada and cold weather states in the northern US. And it was frequently played outdoors in the winter on natural ice, i.e. frozen lakes. Indoor ice rinks weren't available until the 1890s, and they weren't widespread in the US, especially in warmer climates, until the middle of the 20th century. Because of all this, there weren't any NHL teams outside of the Northeast United States until the expansion of the league in 1967. In fact, I don't think there were any south of Philadelphia except for NY, Boston, and Philly. Most of the teams were clustered around the Great Lakes and the border with Canada or in Canada. By that time of the 1967 NHL expansion, baseball, basketball, and football were already truly national leagues with teams all across the US. So yeah. Basically, the NFL, MLB, and NBA all had about a 70-year head start on the NHL, because ice is more difficult to maintain than grass, dirt, and wood floors. If you think hockey is unpopular now, you should have been around before '88 when Gretzky got traded. 1. Cost to play compared to football, basketball, soccer, or baseball is way higher. 2. Access. How many ice rinks in your city? 3. Skating. You have to learn to skate before anything. 4. Speed rules. From a fan perspective, hockey for a newbie can be difficult to follow the puck itself and the rules. Just some random observations from an old head hockey player. Ice skating is a rare skill in the warmer parts of the US. Where I live, the lakes freeze enough to skate on about once every 10 years, so you basically have to go to a skating rink to even practice. The NHL's marketing is shit. As a far north Canadian who has grown around people that have lived, breathed, and died hockey, I used to be like this. The NHL basically does everything wrong. They either don't promote at all or promote one player for weeks until it becomes tiresome. Sometimes you can't even watch your own team play because it's not being broadcasted. It's ridiculous. Another aspect you have to take into consideration is the geographical locations of where hockey is most popular. Is it popular in snowy areas where lakes turn into ice? Yes. Is it popular in places like the southern USA? Not so much. Also, it's ridiculously expensive to buy equipment. I think it's the speed of the puck. I love hockey and tried to introduce my kids to it. They said they can't follow the puck because you can't play it in your driveway or backyard. It's very cost prohibitive to play. You either need to live somewhere that's cold enough to keep an outdoor rink frozen for a few months or pay for ice time at an indoor rink. Protective equipment is expensive. If you've got a young kid in hockey, they will need new skates and pads often, since they'll grow out of it every year. More Americans have experience playing the other, more accessible sports, so they are more likely to watch those. Because most people have at least played football, basketball, or baseball at some point growing up, and hockey not so much. Simple answer is this: it costs the most money to play. You need ice, lots of equipment, net, goalies, sticks, pucks, etc. Even roller hockey is expensive. The other sports? All you need is a ball, bat, or glove. Because the NHL is dumb. Yay, ice hockey is super expensive. However, there is more to hockey than ice. If the NHL spent money on grassroots programs and introduced some floor hockey or roller hockey programs into schools, they could grow the sport. All that can be done real cheap. Yes, you may not have kids playing ice hockey, but if they fall in love with the game in gym class, it would help grow the actual game. Kids like flag football makes them want to watch and be fans of real football. Look up the number of ice rinks per capita in the US vs Canada. Now factor in the insane cost of hockey equipment and ice time. After that, consider how insanely difficult it is to ice skate, let alone get good enough to do something else hockey while skating. Anyone can grab a ball and run on a field. Anyone can pick up a bat and throw a ball with their friends. It takes thousands of hours, many years of practice to even become decent at hockey. It's truly the most difficult and athletic sport on the planet IMO. Truly underappreciated and unfortunately just a very high bar to entry. I've played my whole life to a high level and now I coach. One of the orgs I work with is completely free and it's the only free one in my city, and I live in a hockey city in NY. The other orgs I coach with are all thousands upon thousands to play in per year. Oh, and don't forget the NHL fucking sucks ass at marketing and drawing in new fans. Because it's a very difficult sport to watch on TV if you aren't very familiar with it. You can play baseball on a sand lot. Same with football. Basketball you only need a hoop, but with hockey you need ice. Lots and lots of ice. I've played every sport, but hockey is my favorite and am playing it now in college. It was really a financial burden on my family before it became free, so I think a lot of parents tend to stay away from it and get their kids in low-costing sports. As far as watching, I don't get why people don't watch it as much. Third period hockey in playoffs is something else. What kid wants to go to hockey practice at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning? Because that's the only ice time available, and the figure skaters have it at 8. Least accessible by far.